Entertainment, I'm Rachel Smith. Well, singer Katy Perry certainly has something to roar about. She's cashing in on her music catalog for hundreds of millions of dollars. According to Billboard, Perry is selling the rights to her music to Litmus Music for $225 million. The deal includes songs and albums released between 2008 and 2020. Litmus co-founder and CEO say they are grateful to be working with someone whose integrity shines in everything she does. Perry is about to wrap up her Las Vegas residency in November. Director and LGBTQ+ icon John Waters now has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Waters wrote and directed Hairspray and Pink Flamingos, and both are in the U.S. Library of Congress's National Film Registry. Waters is also the author of 10 books, and he has 2 music compilation albums to his name. Waters is credited with increasing gay and transgender visibility in cinema. For example, Hairspray, which featured a leading character in drag, was originally a cult classic, then it became a Broadway musical and was adapted later into a hit movie. Talks are resuming between the Writers Guild of America and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. The last time the two groups met was in August, and nothing came out of that meeting. Hollywood writers have now been on strike for over 4 months. The two sides have reportedly made some progress on protections from artificial intelligence. They are still negotiating residuals from streaming platforms and a proposal for a mandatory staffing level in TV writers' rooms. We'll keep you posted. And some striking actors and writers are looking for other forms of work right now, many finding it on stage. Actor Daniel T. Isaac is returning to theater with a new show called Every Brilliant Thing. And our Advocate Channel's Tracy E. Gilchrist talked with Isaac about the show and the road ahead for the entertainment industry.
Would you talk a bit about Every Brilliant Thing? This is a play that I hadn't heard of. And when did that first kind of come into your consciousness?
Yeah, I received an email from my agents and manager that that I had this offer in Los Angeles, and would I be interested? And I was shooting Billions at the time, and I knew that it was the last season of Billions, and so I worried about what my future financial stability would be, and what I would have in store. And my manager texted me or called me and said, you should read this script and maybe have tissues on hand. And I read it, and it really hit me, and it also really terrified me. And so I knew that I had to pursue the thing that I was very scared of, because I'd never done a solo show before. I'd never worked with this level of improv or audience interaction and uncertainty, and I try to challenge myself, or hope to be able to. And so and the subject matter really hit home. So I'm super grateful that the stars aligned and I'm here.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, I wonder, would you, for those who are unfamiliar with the play, would you talk a little bit about what that subject matter is, what the kind of, I mean, it's a fairly loose plot, but what the plot of it is?
Yeah. It starts with a little boy at the age of 7 who learns that his mom suffers from depression, from suicidal depression. And so as a kid, he starts writing a list of brilliant things as reasons to live for her. And this list carries on over through his teen years and college and adulthood. And you see it evolve as he goes through his own coming of age story and struggles with depression and suicide himself. And yet it is super funny, or hopefully is, and has an element of audience interaction that makes it different every night. And I, as an actor, will cast members of the audience to play all the other characters in the play in essentially structured improvs, and hopefully take care of them as they also help take care of the story and tell this story from youth to adulthood.
Yeah, well, thank you for that background. And I know that you're currently in rehearsals. How do you prepare for the unknown? I mean, I have to say, I was reading it and I thought, oh God, audience participation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, normally that would make me cringe too.
Yeah. So, you get people walking in who are just like, oh God, please don't call on me. Or the person who goes to a stand-up set and sits in the far back.
Yeah.
With the writers' strikes and the actor strikes, and you're able to do this play, which is incredible. And, and you just spoke very eloquently about how the ability to do this play is, bringing parts of your identity into it that maybe you haven't explored before. And I wonder, would you touch on the importance of making it so that artists can do their work, and especially artists who are queer or who are AAPI or BIPOC, and what it means to be able to tell those stories and to be paid and feel safe and cared for while doing that?
Yeah. Growing up, I had Will and Grace and Queer as Folk and Modern Family, and I think about how that must have advanced to some degree the public perception of what it meant to be gay and what a gay person could be, or that it's sad to have to advocate for our own humanity, but that humanity and equality or just humanness could be portrayed in these TV shows, and how that perhaps, hopefully, or at least in my optimistic outlook, led to advances in, say, marriage equality or other rights for the LGBTQ plus community. And while those same rights are being backpedaled or attacked again, I want to believe that kind of representation still really matters, because you're in people's living rooms or on their cell phones or in their homes in a way that hopefully translates to people just seeing that we're all the same. We all have the same wants and needs, and can be funny and sad, and the depths of humanity can exist in all of that. And for a lot of those shows growing up, I didn't see myself as an Asian American or child of an immigrant or whatnot. So to then have the intersectionality available, to see something like Everything Everywhere All at Once, to get to see Crazy Rich Asians on a big screen, to see Joyride, I just know that if I was younger and I'd seen that, I would have experienced such joy and such catharsis and had felt seen in a way that when I was younger, I had to see myself as, there was still a step of remove or a step of labor I had to do to see myself as the main character. And now those main characters exist. And I hope that continues to happen, because I know that did some healing for my inner child. And so what if a child or a teenager or a young adult just got to see that growing up instead, and how much better that would be for their psyche or for their growth or for their sense of identity and self. And I hope we could just continue to do that and advocate for that.
Well, we're not saying bye to a potential InSync reunion tour, and Fisher-Price is fueling the hype. Okay, get ready. Take a look at this. The toy company is releasing a collector set featuring each member of the band. It's taking us back to a better place with packaging inspired by the group's No Strings Attached album cover. The set is available on Amazon for $30. The listing says it includes fun-hitting details for fans to discover. And the group is set to release its first new single since 2002 later this month. Very exciting. Well, an update now on the auction of Freddie Mercury's items. The auction for the late frontman of the band Queen brought in more than $50 million. Now, some of those items included some really interesting collectibles. The biggest sale of the auction has been a Mercury Yamaha baby grand piano. It went for $2.2 million and was used to compose some of Queen's biggest hits, including Bohemian Rhapsody. Another interesting item, his Tiffany & Company silver mustache comb. It sold for nearly $200,000. Mercury left all of his possessions to his former fiancée and longtime friend, Mary Austin. She held onto them for more than 30 years after his death. She's selling them off now, with part of the proceeds going to Mercury's Phoenix Trust and the Elton John AIDS Foundation. Well, you can watch the Advocate channel live by downloading our app on the Apple or Google Play Store, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page. For the Advocate channel today, I'm Rachel Smith. Take care.